Hey everyone, hope you're doing well today. My name is Josh Canning. This is my wife Lisa Canning. We are Persevere Together. We run a channel and ministry which is aimed at helping people navigate depression in their marriage and stay together for the long haul. If this is your first time here, welcome.
We want to do a short and sweet video to help those who perhaps are at the very, very beginning of their journey. So you're literally like, you have an inkling your spouse has a diagnosable, what do you do?
I don't know. I just noticed my collar was open. It looked kind of weird.
Handsome.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, and then just unbuttoned it.
Just like Antonio Banderas over here.
I mean, you're a very handsome man. So if you're at the very beginning of your journey, maybe you have an inkling, you have a suspicion that there's something, it's not just sadness, it's not just they need a vacation, it's something much more serious. So if you're at the very beginning of your journey, walking with mental illness in your marriage, this video is for you.
So, okay, say, so we're going to try to speak to both parties here, but say you believe that you might be depressed. What is the first thing you should do? Do you want to take that one, Lisa?
I would say that the very first thing to do is to pray. Just drop to your knees, like literally. And this is for both sides, for both the spouse and for the spouse supporting.
Yeah.
Drop to your knees and just ask the Lord to give you guidance, to give you strength, to shield you from self-reliance, because that's what you're going to want to do. Especially if you're the spouse supporting. You might have just like, okay, if only we just quiet the house down and we go on a vacation and we do, those things are going to be helpful. But you need the strength, the supernatural strength that only comes from the grace provided via the Holy Spirit.
Yep. And ask the Lord to give you light, right? Because, I'll tell you, from when I was clinically depressed the first time in our marriage, I was really confused because it didn't make sense that in my mind, that I should be depressed. And because there wasn't a obvious reason that I could point to, it was very hard to confront it, like that this is actually happening. But maybe you can acknowledge at least the symptoms. Like, I'm very anxious. My sleep is all messed up. I'm seeing changes in my weight. My thought patterns are not healthy. Ask the question, is it possible I'm depressed? And ask that question of the Lord. Perhaps the second thing you could do is confide in a friend. Maybe you know somebody who's experienced mental illness, and tell them what you're experiencing. And does that sound like perhaps depression? So confide. Yeah, go ahead.
And this is so important for the spouse supporting, because again, you might have an inclination to just try and fix it, but you very likely have a road ahead of you. And so especially if there was, a very big trigger that maybe resulted in an episode, or if this has been going on for a long time, you want somebody to help you carry that cross. And I mean that both spiritually, but also very practically. So I want to encourage you to find someone who will hold space and support you and not judge you. This is really important. There are a lot of people, and we have another video in my brain all about like what mental illness is and what it is not. There are going to be all kinds of people who are going to just say, no, like you just need a vacation, or no, you should just pray it away, or no, like there might be people who in their goodness, they're trying to help. But what you need is someone who will just hold space and be like, what do you need? And so what does that look like? It might be, can you take the kids so that we can go take a couple hours to actually sort out some options? Or it might be, I am so overwhelmed. Can you please just make extra dinner, and bring it over? Like, you need the kind of friend who will, without judgment, just hold a bunch of space and then help you practically and allow them to help you. This is really hard for me, but I have found so invaluable. When Josh is having a hard time, it can feel like you are very much on your own, because sometimes you are. And so you need other people to help lessen the load.
And I had a thought and it ran out of my head. It can be hard to confide in somebody about this, even your spouse. But I can tell you, when I was experiencing depression, I really struggled to talk to even my closest friends about it, because again, it can contain within it feelings of shame. I shouldn't be like this. And because I feel like this, that means I'm very weak, and I'm supposed to be a man. I'm supposed to be a provider. If I was just better constructed, I could soldier through, that kind of thing. So it might take a lot of a bit of courage to talk about that and to be vulnerable. But it's really important to talk to a friend, loved one, and your spouse.
The voice of God will encourage, and the voice of the enemy will condemn. So just remember that. Like, God is not going to condemn you for having mental illness or for needing help.
And the reality is you can Google, like, lots of really truly manly men have experienced mental health challenges, athletes, and people that are at the top of their game, and CEOs and whatever. So it's something that can strike anybody. So don't listen to that voice. The next thing you should do is you should talk to a professional. So maybe that's your family doctor. In Canada here, it might take you forever to see a family doctor. So it might be you look up, like, in my case, I looked up a Catholic Family Services, so like Catholic social working kind of agency, where I could speak to, at first, a counselor. And talk therapy was the first thing in the beginning, is just simply talking through the stressors in life and the way that I was feeling, and working with a professional like that. And by the way, subsidized. So in case you were worried about the cost, we could never do this. When you go to like a Catholic agency like that, often it is subsidized, and sometimes you're only paying a very nominal amount for counseling, but at least that you're able to fully kind of unload your thoughts and feelings about what's happening. And if necessary, they can then escalate if need be. So if talk therapy is not getting it done for you, then perhaps they can suggest seeing a psychiatrist, and then perhaps that brings medication into the conversation. But at least you're not trying to figure it out all by yourself, and you're doing the work or taking the steps you need to take so that you can get better.
And for the person supporting, your own mental health support is going to be very important too. So I highly, highly recommend. It's usually one of the things that I say is just the very first thing to do is to consult your own team. Like, you need to build your own support team for your own mental health. And I really like recommending that you go to see a counselor or you find a therapist yourself. And why I like that is because that they understand mental illness. They will give you language. They will give you tools. They will hold a lot of space for you in order to process all of the things that you are feeling, because it can feel like a heavy burden. I think a coach can also be very helpful, especially if you can find a coach who has experience with mental illness or is trained. Many coaches these days are very diverse in their training. So find a coach who can help you in the day-to-day, who can help you in your mindset management. These things are going to be really important because they provide a space of, I think they will increase your ability to be empathetic, but then also provide just extremely concrete tools for both you and your partner.
Yep. And then I think the last thing, perhaps the last point we could end on is, while this is happening, it's good to start to do your research and educate yourself on it, because with understanding will come a bit more peace with the situation. There's no point in trying to bury it, under the rug. It is what it is. It's happening. So for both you and your spouse, it would be good for you to start to read up on mental illness and figure out how we can set ourselves better up for mental health. A book we like to recommend a lot is The Catholic Guide to Depression by Dr. Aaron Kheriaty. It's a very, very good book. A lot of good insights. Talk also about even saints that have experienced different types of mental illness.
And fun thing to share with you. We are developing our own resource. And so if you would like to be in the know when our resource is dropping, just comment below, like, I want to know, and we will make sure to come here and share that link with you when it is ready.
And also, if you want to hear the behind the scenes stuff before everybody else does, join our locals community. It's linked below. That's perseveretogether.locals.com. perseveretogether.locals.com. I believe check below and join us there. And thanks for tuning in today. We wish you every blessing, and you can hang on. You can get through this.
We can persevere together.
Amen. All right, guys. Take care.
Have a great day. Bye.